It's my day. By God, you just better leave it alone. We all got to be here on time, be dressed right, have our hair cut, and do the right thing. That's the way we have a nice day. But if at the end of the day they made money, then they had a nice day too. Because of our differing values, we seek different things from the job. Another closely related job value is that of problem orientation. Oh, they love problems over here. Give them a problem and they can get so excited. Problems are orgasmic for the traditionalists. The first thing they'll do is form a group called a committee that will work on the problem. And they turn in a report and it goes on file and not a damn thing happens, but everyone feels wonderful because they did the right thing. Very problem-oriented. These people had a lot of big problems. They had big problems like how do you get out of depression, how do you win wars, how do you build a giant economic system. Those were big problems. These people, on the other hand, think that you push a button to solve a problem. Push a button, flick a switch. They grew up, remember, seeing the world's most complex problems solved in 1 hour, 5 commercial breaks for the good life. So they are now tied in totally to technology. They are so push-button, problem-solving oriented that subtle changes are taking place, and major in some cases, in our society. For example, did you know it is now possible right now across the system to drop a college course during the last hour of the final exam if it's a technical course and the batteries go out on your calculator? Think about that. All they have to do is run in the dean's office, and the batteries have gone dead, and they let them off the hook. No accountability, no responsibility. Now, when I was an undergraduate student at the University of Texas, walking to school 5 miles through the snow to the old Quonset huts from World War II, you did not lightly drop a course. Instead, you couldn't do anything during the last 5 weeks of the semester. I mean, that was it. You got an F if you got out during that time. But prior to that time, if you want to drop a course, you started with a note from the Pope and moved up from there. I mean, you were not let off the hook very lightly. Accountable, responsible. But push-button oriented, and my batteries have gone dead, and we let them off the hook. Rejectionists do not like problems, but they love causes. Oh, give them a cause. The bigger, the better, the more excited they can get about it, the less they can do about it, the better they like it. They love big things that they have absolutely no impact on. Something like nuclear proliferation. I personally do not worry about nuclear proliferation. I have not wasted 2 minutes of my life worrying about nuclear proliferation. I can't do a thing about nuclear energy. I really can't. I mean, I figure let the experts do it. If I worked at 3 Mile Island, I wouldn't want 3 Mile Island to go boom. Would you? I mean, I figure those experts are paying attention. They're doing the best they can under the circumstances that exist, given their knowledge. And if something goes wrong, they're going to do the best they can to try to correct it. But these people just love to get involved with big causes, something like pollution. They hold an anti-pollution rally. It takes 2 dump trucks to haul away all the crap they leave behind after the anti-pollution rally. They worry about pollution in the Great Lakes. And they're out there. I think it's very important that they consider that these people did not plan to pollute the Great Lakes. At no point in the past did these people sit around and say, let's pollute the Great Lakes. Ha! We'll kill all the fish, screw up the beaches. They won't have any fun on the Great Lakes anymore. We'll show them. These people, at the time, under the circumstances, with their best knowledge, made the decision. Now we can see the consequences of those decisions. We know there are problems. When the river catches on fire in Cleveland, there is a problem with pollution. But now we can apply tried and true problem-solving techniques and the new technology and try to change the way the world is with respect to the problems that exist. But for these people, they'll worry about the big issues. I'll guarantee you, for all these people who are so concerned about pollution in the Great Lakes, if you go to where they live, there is fungus growing up the wall of their shower stall. But it's no fun to clean up your shower stall, is it? It's no fun to do something very specific and tedious. It's fun to worry about the big issues. We desperately need to bring together the best problem-solving techniques available to the causes that exist critically in the world of the 1980s. You want to change the world? I'll tell you how you can change the world. You can change the world by starting right here. I can change this world by starting right here. I can't do a damn thing about the back of this room right now, but I can change my world right here. You want to change the world? Go clean out your closets. Some of you have closets, offices, desks, garages, attics that are a bigger threat to human life than 3 Mile Island. But it's no fun to clean out your closets, is it? Clean out your physical closets Clean out your mental closets. Throw out all those trashy biases, prejudices, bigoted ideas that have existed, and start looking at the reality of the world and its people as they exist today. That's the way to bring about effective solution in the complexity of today's world. Okay, final value difference between the traditionalists and the rejectionists. Materialism. Traditionalists love things. They collect things. They won't throw away things. Their attitude toward life is you never know when you might need the June 1938 issue of the National Geographic. And they have that issue and every other standing by just in case. They retire. We give them a gold watch. What do they need a watch for? They're retired. They don't have to be anywhere. Plus, they can't focus on it anyway. But still, it's become the symbolic thing. Rejectionists like things. They buy things, but they're looking for something different. They're not looking for the thing for the sake of having it. Plus, of course, they always know if they get too many, they can store them with their parents over here. But they buy things for the experience of the thing. They want to feel the thing, to get turned on by the thing. Again, our values are reflected in the marketplace. The way we buy products, stereo equipment. Just about everyone has some sort of stereo equipment. If you're a typical traditionalist, you have a stereo console. This nice big thing that sits there, polished wood, a lot of lights. You paid a lot of money for it. You paid $800 for your stereo console. It sits in the rec room because Family Circle, Better Homes and Gardens said it'd look good there. And it plays music, and you drink a lot to it. These people bought stereo equipment. They paid a lot of money for it. $1,800 for a component system. It hangs all over the wall. Wires are running everywhere. It looks like hell. Then after they got it, they wired themselves into it because they wanted to feel the music. These people don't want to feel the music. They have to take Pepto-Bismol if they feel too much of that music. And then there's the in-betweeners, and they're so worried, and they don't know what to do, and they're trying to compromise. They like the idea of the quality of a component system, but they don't want to upset these people. So the typical in-betweener stereo purchase is a component system which they then hide in a closet or a special cabinet that they bought for that purpose. And of course, if it's an antique armoire, it's even better because that blends the best of both worlds. The compromiser's middle-of-the-road position. Look at something like the automotive industry. Vans. Traditionalists have always had vans. You go to work in a van. The florist drives a van. Plumbers drive vans. People deliver things in vans. Very functional, work-oriented product. But just a few years ago, the rejectionists and some in-betweeners looked at vans, and they said, hey, we're going to make a few modifications in that van. We'll change it around a little bit. We're going to have some experiences in those vans. A lot of sensual participation. It's going to feel good day and night in those vans. They had fun. And all of a sudden, the industry people looked out and went, damn, there are all those vans running around out there. In fact, if you talk to the people in the big three van divisions, they will tell you that the administrative planners completely missed the van phenomena in the marketplace because they were not paying attention to the gut-level value systems of the consumers. Unless we pay attention to people today in terms of their values, we're simply missing the mark in terms of management decision-making. Another major U.S. corporation, in dealing with its people who were creating problems on the job, used to force them to take off time without pay. The basic approach was, you've screwed up, we've had it, you take 3 days off without pay. That panicked the traditionalists because it hurt them in terms of their economic security orientation. But increasingly they found when they told rejectionists, we've had it with you, 3 days off without pay, they'd say, hell, I'll take 5. Want to do something else this week anyway? That was frustrating the traditional managers. So what they now do is deal with people on the basis of their values. Typically, traditionalists are still threatened with time off, no pay. But the rejectionists are threatened with overtime, and it upsets them. That's their time. It's their right to have that time. You can't mess with that. We have to consider the value systems of other people. We have to be flexible as we develop policies, rules, and procedures because that flexibility is demanded by the diversity in the value systems presently operating within our system. Now, as we begin to deal with other people, when we consider those values, we change the way we interact with them. I think the basic idea here simply is we look at other people. We analyze the basic values that exist within them, understanding those values, then we make our decisions in today's world. And we have to realize that we're likely to have to change those processes that we use because the values themselves continue to change. Now, let's assume that we want to change someone, that we want to create a significant emotional event. If we want to do that, the first thing we have to do is decide that we are going to be responsible. An awful lot of people don't want to be responsible. They want to let someone else do it. Let the government do it, let the schools do it, let parents do it, let Joe do it, let whoever do it. We don't want to accept personal responsibility. But we have to accept the reality that we are responsible for our own lives and for dealing with other people. If you want to create a significant emotional event, change within someone else, then you have to be responsible for dealing with those people. If you're going to do that, then you also have to realize you're going to be direct and personal in dealing with those people. That means a memo won't do it. A little sign won't do it. You know, there's a philosophy of business floating around right now that says, as we deal with people, what we should do is get them to contemplate their relationship. So if they're messing up on the job, what we do is call them in when they first come to work and say, Harry, it's not working. We want you to take the rest of the day off.